Lurking deep within the untamed wilderness of North America, a towering, enigmatic figure is said to roam, leaving behind a trail of massive footprints and fleeting glimpses that have ignited the imaginations of researchers and enthusiasts alike. This elusive being, known by many names, Sasquatch, Bigfoot, or the legendary wood ape, has captured the imagination of generations. Its very existence an enigma that has spawned countless expeditions, heated debates, and an enduring legacy in popular culture and folklore. From the temperate rainforests of the Pacific Northwest to the rugged, ancient terrain of the Appalachian Mountains, reports of Sasquatch sightings have persisted for centuries. Eyewitness accounts, deep-rooted folklore, and perplexing physical evidence continues to defy conventional scientific explanation. In this video, we journey to the heart of this mystery, exploring the distribution of alleged Bigfoot sightings, the testimonies of those who claim to have encountered the elusive cryptid face-to-face, and the reported behavior and distinctive physical traits that have fueled rampant speculation about its true nature. While Sasquatch sightings have been documented across vast swaths of the North American continent, certain regions have emerged as hotspots and havens for encounters. The dense, primordial forests of the Pacific Northwest, stretching from the rugged Canadian province of British Columbia down through the states of Washington and Oregon, have long been considered prime Sasquatch territory, meshing a rich tradition of ancient Native American folklore with a wealth of modern-day eyewitness accounts. The old-growth forests of this region, with their towering conifers and unspoiled expanses of wilderness, virtually untouched by human hands, provide the quintessential habitat for a creature as reclusive as the legendary Sasquatch. Sightings and reports are heavily concentrated in areas such as the Cascade Mountain Range, the remote Olympic Peninsula, and the coastal regions of Vancouver Island. The rugged, unforgiving terrain offers ample refuge and boundless opportunities for an agile, bipedal primate to evade human detection. Further east, spanning the forested ridges and valleys of the Appalachian Mountain Range, there is another hotbed of alleged Sasquatch activity. Sightings and encounters have been reported across states like Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Ohio. The heavily wooded areas of these timeless mountains have given rise to their own tradition of Bigfoot legends and folklore, with accounts dating back to the earliest days of colonial settlement. Lying at the heart of the Sasquatch phenomenon are the myriad eyewitness accounts, both historic and contemporary, that have inspired investigations by professionals and amateur sleuths alike over the decades. One of the most famous and well-documented cases occurred in 1967 near Bluff Creek, a remote region of Northern California, where a pair of amateur filmmakers captured what is now known as the iconic Patterson-Gimlin footage. The grainy, 24-second film depicts a large, hairy creature striding slowly and deliberately across a dry creek bed, before abruptly turning and disappearing into the dense treeline. Despite being decades old and scrutinized and analyzed by countless experts, photographic analysts, and investigators, this brief piece of footage remains one of the most critical pieces of evidence in the ongoing Sasquatch debate. Another fascinating encounter allegedly took place in 1924 in the extreme wilderness of rural British Columbia. In this controversial incident, Albert Ostman, a nomadic Canadian prospector and explorer, claimed he had been kidnapped and held captive for several harrowing days by what he insisted was a family of Sasquatches. Ostman's highly detailed written account, which crucially included in-depth physical and behavioral descriptions of the creatures, their methods of communication, and even basic details about their nomadic family structure, has become enshrined as a cornerstone in the overarching Sasquatch mythology. Needless to say, Ostman's testimony has sparked heated debate, scrutiny and backlash from both sides of the proverbial Sasquatch fence. In more recent years, eyewitness accounts continue to surface and circulate, often originating from sources considered highly credible, including veteran law enforcement officers, experienced forest rangers, and seasoned outdoorsmen with a deep familiarity with regional wildlife. These contemporary accounts paint a vivid picture of massive, hairy anthropoids silently lurking in the shadows of the wilderness, their piercing, unearthly howls splitting the forest night. While the plethora of reports vary in specific details and minutiae, certain behavioral patterns and physical characteristics repeatedly come up as hallmarks of the Sasquatch myth and legend. Many reports, both historical and contemporary, describe Sasquatches as being highly intelligent and elusive, employing expert stealth tactics to evade human detection in their wild habitat. Their alleged ability to move with incredible speed and agility despite their massive physical size has been consistently noted and remarked upon by eyewitnesses. Some accounts have gone so far as to describe the creatures as being capable of covering vast distances in mere minutes, leaving even skilled trackers and outdoorsmen confounded by the attributes of their quarry. Regarding the most persistently described physical attributes, the Sasquatch is almost universally depicted as a gargantuan, hair-covered, bipedal primate, standing between 7 and 10 feet tall. Their impressive frames are typically covered in a dense coat of coarse hair, ranging in coloration from reddish-brown to deep black. Eyewitnesses consistently describe the facial features of Sasquatches as being distinctly ape-like. Prominent brow ridges, deep-set piercing eyes, elongated jaws, and protruding muzzles are among the most commonly emphasized descriptors from those claiming to have glimpsed the creatures. Perhaps unsurprisingly, the greatest potential evidence of Sasquatch's existence lies in the many examples of oversized footprints. The impressive size of the prints, with many measuring over 16 inches from heel to toe, have arguably become the calling card of these enigmatic cryptids. Sasquatches are also reported to communicate with one another over long distances. Some accounts include claims of Sasquatches vocalizing with disturbing, unearthly howls or growls, perhaps even employing a rudimentary form of vocal language to communicate between nomadic family groups. There is also the phenomenon of knocking, wherein Sasquatches are thought to beat the trunks of trees with sticks, to signal to others of their kind. As one would expect, the Sasquatch phenomenon has spawned a multitude of diverse theories, each attempting to unravel the inexplicable threads of this enduring mystery. Among the most prominent and hotly debated of these theories is the cryptozoological suggestion that the Sasquatch represents a living relic of a prehistoric proto-human primate species, such as Gigantopithecus or another long-extinct hominid ancestor that has somehow persisted in isolated regions of North America. Proponents of this theory point to the sheer volume of eyewitness testimonies and reported physical evidence as being indicative of the existence of a large, undiscovered primate that has simply managed to evade mainstream scientific documentation. They posit that the vast wilderness and heavily forested expanses of the North American continent offer ample refuge for pockets of an ancient, reclusive hominid species to persist virtually undetected by the modern world. To these researchers, consistencies in descriptive accounts of physical attributes and behaviors make the prospect of an unidentified primate a logical conclusion. On the opposing side, skeptics attribute the majority of sightings to misidentified known species such as bears or other large woodland mammals. They contend the lack of any conclusive physical evidence, such as remains or an actual living specimen, casts doubt on the credibility of claims of a unique undiscovered primate roaming the continent. To the skeptical mainstream, hoaxes, pranks, and the active human tendency towards myth-making all provide more plausible explanations for the perseverance of such an outlandish legend. In recent decades, an even more fringe theory has emerged to gain traction within certain paranormal research circles. The idea that the Sasquatch represents not an ordinary terrestrial animal at all, but rather an interdimensional or extraterrestrial entity capable of appearing, disappearing, and traversing the boundaries of our known physical plane of existence. Proponents of this supernatural theory claim certain eyewitness descriptions of Sasquatches seemingly blinking out of sight, their ability to rapidly travel long distances, and other inexplicable behaviors point to the creatures possessing metaphysical abilities and potentially operating beyond the normal parameters of our perceived reality. While this interdimensional hypothesis lacks empirical evidence, its proponents maintain it is no less valid than the notion of an entire species of large hominid having somehow remained uncatalogued into the modern era. They contend that attributing the Sasquatch phenomenon to a form of higher dimensional or extraterrestrial being makes as much logical sense as traditional theories, given the inexplicable evidence reported over the generations. Needless to say, This theory has no traction with mainstream science but continues to gain popularity in fringe circles. Despite the contradictory theories, decades of intensive research, high-profile expeditions, and heated public debates, the Sasquatch Enigma remains one of the most enduring mysteries in the field of cryptozoology, and it occupies a permanent place in popular culture. As both mainstream and fringe disciplines have evolved and new cutting-edge technologies become available, the search for this legendary being has only intensified with each passing year, fueled by our innate fascination with the unknown and the burning desire to unravel one of nature's greatest riddles. From seasoned professional researchers to passionate amateurs, dedicated teams and individuals continue to brave the wilderness year after year, armed with the latest equipment and tracking techniques in a determined quest to uncover definitive proof of the Sasquatch's existence. Cutting-edge gear like trail cameras, thermal imagery and detection devices, environmental sampling tools, and advanced audio recorders have all been deployed in recent years, yielding a wealth of compelling yet ever inconclusive evidence and data that only seems to deepen the mystery with each new discovery. In state-of-the-art laboratories and research facilities around the world, scientists and forensic analysts have also doubled down on efforts in recent years, meticulously examining alleged pieces of physical evidence with the latest technologies and scientific techniques. Everything from purported Sasquatch hair, skin, and tissue samples to plaster casts of footprints and other environmental trace evidence has come under intense scrutiny and analysis. Cutting-edge genetic testing, DNA sequencing, electron microscopy, and other advanced forensic methods have all been brought to bear on these artifacts, in a relentless effort to extract definitive answers about their origins and whether they could finally constitute proof of Sasquatch's existence. However, despite exhaustive testing and analysis by some of the most well-credentialed experts in their respective fields, a singularly conclusive and irrefutable connection that could put the Sasquatch debate to rest has eluded science thus far. As technology and scientific knowledge advance, Sasquatch hunters fervently maintain that the pursuit of this legendary creature remains an important one. Whether Bigfoot eventually proves to be a species of terrestrial primate, an interdimensional entity, or figment of our collective imagination, they argue that the very act of exploring the unknown pushes the boundaries of understanding, and keeps the spirit of discovery alive in an age of rapidly dwindling frontiers. As we reach the culmination of our journey into the heart of this mystery, an undeniable truth crystallizes. The Sasquatch is woven into the very fabric of our folklore, mythology, and imagination. Whether one views it as a flesh-and-blood animal traversing the uncharted wilderness, a manifestation of our boundless capacity for myth-making, or something supernatural and metaphysical in nature, the cultural impact of the Sasquatch phenomenon is impossible to ignore. The countless historical and contemporary sightings, the tantalizing shards of alleged physical evidence, and the profound sense of wonder it has invoked within the dreamers and explorers among us over the centuries, all have indelibly etched the legend of this shaggy behemoth into the very foundations of our modern era. Sasquatch's looming presence in our collective psyche serves as a powerful reminder that our universe remains an expansive, largely untapped realm of mysteries, just waiting to be dissected and understood by those intrepid few explorers. Whether professional, passionate amateur, or merely a curious observer on the sidelines, let the allure of Sasquatch ignite our sense of wonder for generations to come. For as long as the ungoverned wilderness casts its veil of secrets, the possibility remains that Sasquatch may lurk just beyond the shadows, beckoning us to continue seeking, daring us to dream of what other mysteries may be revealed.